In this presentation, we will go over some basic Italian pronunciation rules. You will learn more about Italian pronunciation in the course of the semester, but here are a handful of rules that you need to get started. The number one rule of the Italian pronunciation is that it is always consistent. If something is spelt the same, it's pronounced the same. Just look at this word. Everybody knows how to pronounce ciao, right? Ciao. You've heard it a million times. It's spelled with CIA at the beginning, and that sounds like cha. So that same spelling will be pronounced with the same sound no matter where you see it. At the end of the word, at the beginning of the word, in the middle of the word. You have camicia, ciabatta, cominciare. So the conclusion is that if it's spelled the same in Italian, it's pronounced the same. Always, no exceptions. Look at the English on the other hand. Look at the word buck. It's spelled with the letter U. That letter U can be pronounced all kinds of different ways, depending on the context. For example, you have business, bugle, burger, buck. 4 different ways to pronounce the letter U. So in English, probably we shouldn't say there are no rules because I'm sure there are rules. Actually, I know there are rules, but they're so complicated and the variations are so wild that for all intents and purposes, it's as if there were no rules. Italian is not like that. Let's look at the Italian vowels. There are 5 vowels in Italian, and they sound like this. A, E, I, O, U. Their English equivalents are not exactly perfect, but A sounds somewhat like A in father, E, send, I, seem, O, song, and U, su. In Italian, for example, the words that we have as examples here are madre, Elena, idea, opera, universo. So you saw from these examples that the final vowel is always pronounced in Italian. It's never silent like in French. And if you have several vowels in a row, you will pronounce them all, as in idea. Let's talk about the letters C and G because those are the 2 most important letters that you need how to pronounce correctly. And there are only 2 possibilities, 2 possible pronunciations of letters C and G, either the hard sound or the soft sound. The hard sound is K as in cat and G as in got. So, pretty much the rule is the following. Letters C and G are pronounced with a hard sound K and G all the time, except when they're followed by vowels E or I. So all the time, K and G, all the time, except when they're followed by vowels E and I. So let's pronounce all the words on our list. On the left-hand side, we have the hard pronunciation. Ka, ga, ko, go, ku, gu, and then k and g. These 2 pronunciations, or spellings CH and GH, can be followed then by other vowels, but no matter what comes after, they're pronounced as K and G. So people, you who speak Spanish, a lot of you do, forget about the Spanish pronunciation of CH. In Italian, it's K. And then we have ska, sko, sku, and sk. On the right-hand side, we have the soft pronunciation, ch as in check and j as in gem. So that's going to happen only when those 2 consonants are followed by E's or I's. So we have che, je, chi, ji, cha, cho, chu, ja, jo, ju, she, and she. Let's go back to the 3rd from the bottom row, and you will see that here we have cha, cho, chu. That I there is actually not pronounced in this case because the stress doesn't fall on it, so it just serves the purpose of softening the pronunciation of the consonant before the next vowel. Cha, cho, chu, ja, jo, ju. Also, people who speak Spanish remember that in Italian the letter C is never pronounced as S. Never. It's K or Ch, and that's it. Let's look at the emphasis or stress. The most characteristic emphasis or stress is the one that falls on the second to the last syllable. That's the characteristic sing-song quality of Italian. Ristorante, second to the last. Or professore, again second to the last. Amica, second to the last. But there are words that are pronounced differently. For example, simpatico, third from the last. giovane. Third from the last again. And then some words are actually stressed on the very last vowel, università. And that will be spelt with an accent on that vowel. So when you see that accent, put a lot of stress, a forceful stress on that vowel, università. The words like simpatico, giovane, those that are emphasized on the third from the last syllable, will have a dot spelt written underneath that vowel in your textbook. But that's not really how Italian is spelled. That is there only to help you learn the correct emphasis. To conclude, here is a handout of the soft and hard pronunciation of letters C and G, which is the most important part. You can print it out. It's also posted on Blackboard, so you have a quick reference as to the pronunciation of these two sounds, either K and G or Ch and J.